Welcome, brave souls, to Into the Crawlspace, the channel where we dive deep into the hidden, the eerie, and the unknown. I'm Bates, your guide through the shadows, and together we'll explore chilling tales, spine-tingling mysteries, and the secrets lurking beneath our feet. So grab your flashlight, because you never know what you might find lurking in the dark. It started as a trend. A video that mysteriously began circulating on social media, passed around like an unspoken dare. No one knew where it originated from, only that it appeared on random accounts. The footage always grainy and strangely timeless. The video showed a small room, dimly lit with a single paper lantern, casting a sickly yellow light over ancient wooden walls and cracked sliding doors. Shadows flickered, whispering secrets you couldn't hear, but somehow felt. At first it seemed harmless. People would comment, share, and dare each other to watch it at night with the lights off. "Do you see her?" was the phrase tossed around in the comment section. Some viewers claimed that if you paused it at exactly 2 minutes and 17 seconds, a shadowy figure appeared in the corner of the room, barely visible, as though she were just waiting there, patient and silent. But then the stories began. The first person known to watch it, according to rumors, was a Japanese influencer named Haruto. He was young, successful, with an upbeat persona and tens of thousands of followers. One night, he posted a video in which he laughed and pointed out the figure at 2:17, teasing his viewers with fake screams and over-the-top reactions. But later that night, he uploaded a very different video. He looked pale, eyes hollow, whispering that he felt something in his room. His followers thought he was joking, but the next morning, he stopped posting altogether. When the police eventually entered his apartment, they found him sitting in front of his phone, eyes wide, staring blankly, his body unnaturally still. There was no pulse, just an empty shell, an expression of silent horror frozen on his face. Haruto's followers were horrified, but curiosity has a strange pull, and instead of stopping, more people watched the video, hoping to see what he saw. Soon, a legend started circulating. They called it the Shiraku, an ancient Japanese spirit that preyed on those who viewed its image. Once you saw her, she was bound to you like a curse. According to legend, the Shiraku was an onryo, a vengeful spirit who could only be satisfied by devouring souls. Once you became her target, she would visit you night after night, taking a little more of you each time until you were nothing but an empty husk. The Shiraku's image, they said, was the doorway to her world. When people saw her in the video, they were inviting her to enter their lives. And once she was in, she never left. One such viewer was a girl named Katsumi. She had heard the stories, of course, but brushed them off as urban legends designed to scare people away. She had a love for horror and figured this was no different than any ghost story she'd heard before. One night, sitting alone in her dimly lit room, she found the video. She could hardly resist the temptation. With a smirk, she clicked play, leaning closer to the screen as the video loaded. The familiar scene unfolded. A worn tatami floor, flickering lantern light, and shadows dancing around as if alive. As the timer hit 2:17, she paused, leaning even closer. There, in the far right corner, was a figure. Not clear, but just enough to make out her presence. A woman with long, dark hair hanging over her face, her body barely more than a whisper of shadow. Katsumi squinted, holding her breath, as though expecting the figure to move. But it didn't. The room was silent, the video frozen. She laughed, feeling the thrill of fear, but also the satisfaction of spotting the hidden figure. She commented, shared the video with her friends, and went to bed feeling smug. But that night, she woke to an oppressive silence. She opened her eyes to see her room, bathed in an eerie darkness, as if the light was being sucked out. In the corner, right where her closet door should have been, she saw her. A figure, barely visible in the shadows, her hair falling like a curtain over her face. Katsumi's throat went dry as she felt a pull, a sickening sensation like her very essence was being drawn towards the figure. She couldn't move, couldn't scream, as the figure seemed to step closer, only for the darkness around her to deepen. The next morning, she woke in a daze. Her skin looked grayish in the bathroom mirror, her eyes duller. Her body felt strangely hollow, as though a part of her had been ripped away. She brushed it off as a lack of sleep, but over the next few nights, the hauntings grew worse. Every night, the figure grew clearer, more solid, her movements deliberate. She would stand at the edge of Katsumi's bed, her breath cold, stinking of decay. Katsumi's nightmares filled with visions of herself, screaming, trapped in a blackness so complete that even sound was swallowed. Each time she'd wake up feeling weaker, drained, and with less memory of who she had been before. Her friends noticed her change first. Katsumi's once bright smile had faded. She grew forgetful, her mind dulled, her personality slipping away. When she spoke, it was in a monotone, as if every word was a struggle. She stopped going out, stopped posting online, barely left her room. Her face took on a lifeless pallor, her once shining eyes now dull and empty. Katsumi's parents grew frantic, but she barely registered their concern. She barely registered anything at all. She had become a shell of her former self, and even she knew it. In the mirror, her reflection looked foreign, her eyes deep pits, her skin a dull, lifeless gray. And every night the figure drew closer, reaching, consuming. One night, as Katsumi lay in bed, the shiraku, the figure now fully solid, moved to her side, lifting a hand to her face, a touch as cold as the grave. Katsumi's mouth fell open, and with it, she felt her very soul, all her memories, her thoughts, her essence begin to drain from her body. She couldn't scream. She couldn't move. She was paralyzed as she felt herself slip away, leaving only an empty vessel behind. When her parents checked on her the next morning, they found her sitting on the bed, her eyes wide, her mouth slack, her skin an ashen white. There was no life left in her gaze, no light of recognition as they called her name. Katsumi was gone and only a husk remained. The shiraku had moved on, looking for a new victim. But Katsumi's account stayed active, the cursed video pinned to the top of her profile. Days later, another user commented, "Did anyone else see her in the corner at 2:17? And that wraps up our exploration for today. What did you think of the hidden horrors we uncovered? Let me know in the comments below. Remember, the Crawlspace holds many secrets, and we've only just scratched the surface. If you enjoyed this content, don't forget to hit that like button and subscribe for more spine-chilling stories and explorations. Until next time, keep your lights on and your curiosity alive. Who knows what might be waiting just around the corner or beneath the floorboards?